Hey guys, you've been added to the Close Friends list. We are a podcast that talks about pop culture, gossip, and really anything we want. As you know, the Close Friends list is always a vibe that's changing, so make sure you stay a part of ours by following us anywhere you listen to podcasts at Close Friends List Pod. New episodes drop every Friday at midnight. We are so excited to have you on our Close Friends list, and we hope to be added to yours soon. Welcome back, guys, to the Close Friends List podcast. We have a very important topic to discuss today. Ladies, the secret lives of Mormon wives.
Yes. Will Momtok survive this? I don't know.
We're going to discuss that today.
Yes, in
Do
full
we
detail. In full detail.
Our
Exactly.
weeks have been filled with just like watching watching the secret lives of Mormon wives, and then also like consuming all the like Twitter content, TikTok content, like seeing the juice that has gone on since filming Wrap, since the show aired. Like there's so much tea to talk about, and
Yes.
we have all these opinions. So this is our little emergency episode because we were like, we have to talk about this instead of whatever we were going to talk
Today.
about.
Yes.
Like, we had to get on our Zoom, basically.
Especially while it's all fresh, because my brain, I'm going to forget about this in 2 weeks probably. And that's okay until season 2 comes out at least.
Exactly.
Which hopefully it comes out. Like, Hulu, please, like,
They
I'm
have
on my
to.
knees begging, like, give us a season 2, because this is some of the best like reality TV there has been in a while.
A
Like,
long
it's
time.
gold.
We are going to be
So
skipping catch up because that is what we did this week.
yeah.
Just watched all the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Now you're caught up.
Jumped right in. Exactly.
caught
And
up.
that's what we're talking about today.
So, do we want to start with like just an overview of like what Momtok is, like in case our listeners like don't know what it is and they've just been living in a bubble the last week or so?
We should, because I didn't know what it was until I watched the show.
Oh.
Yeah, it was all
fully
new to
into
me.
it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
give us the deets. What do you know, Adia? Like,
Oh
or
my
generally.
Okay, so way back when, I want to say 2022, I think, but way back when, I would see this long-haired girl on TikTok all the time. And she would be dancing. Like, this is back when like dancing was like everything. Dancing, dancing, dancing. She's a mom. She's got, she's hip, she's fun, she's fresh. I was enamored with this girl. Okay. I'm just like, she's got the three first names, which I love. Taylor, Frankie, Paul. Like,
Okay, yeah.
iconic. But the gig, or the gag, I should say, is back then she was doing this bit where she was a grandma. So she would be like, I'm 50 years old. These are my two twin daughters. Mind you, they look exactly like her age. Like, but she would,
Yeah.
and it was like a bit, like a gag. So I'm like, there's no way she's a grandma. There's no way these are her kids. And it was just from there, I've been enamored with her. And I'm like, what is going on? Mind you, I have a history with Mormons. I dated a Mormon in high school. So I've always been interested in that whole realm of LDS, like just all of that stuff. Like,
Yeah. We
so,
can go
Okay, you can't
could
just
go
drop
deep
that.
on that.
Yeah.
yes, I dated a Mormon who quit the church while we were dating.
And you were just
Mhm.
gonna let that fly through? You were just gonna
Yes.
drop it and keep on
Yeah.
talking? Come on.
But that's
What's
where it all
also
started.
Yeah. What's also funny, I lived with two ex-Mormons. So I've been texting one of them being like, did you see this? Did you see that? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, we need to chat about this. So it's very interesting, like having that outside perspective and then watching the show.
Yes.
But yeah, like I would say a sentence or two of like Mom Talk. Mom Talk is just like a group of ladies who all live in Utah, who are Mormon moms, who were like, we're going to band together and we're going to like show like basically be like mini feminists and
Yes.
like as much as they can be in the Mormon church, like without getting like absolutely not, like
Excommunicated? Yeah.
basically. But yeah, so they just were like, we're gonna start this. Like, we're all growing followings. Let's band together, use our joint followings, and just like get more. And so now here they are. So it started off with like, I think there were like 3 of them, but then it expanded to like 10 to 15.
Yeah.
And then it's now kind of just 8 people who we now see on the show. So, let's
and they're all hot. I'll say that.
they're all like
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Yes.
Yeah. And they like to work around the Mormon rules that are like set out to like do things.
That's
like I was watching a TikTok the other day that was talking about the like Mormon like garments that they're supposed to wear, but they don't have to wear it unless they're like showering, just like any type of naked, or like working out. So they're all wearing workout clothes so they can get around. They're like, oh, I'm, about to do fitness or like whatever. So they don't have to wear the garments. And I was like, working around the rules, girlies.
That's what I wanted to talk about. I added it to the end of our list because it's like,
okay.
At what point are we like calling them Mormon? And like the rules are just
exactly.
Because my Mormon experience is Scott's company is like based in Salt Lake City. And so a lot of his coworkers grew up Mormon, and I know a little bit from that. And then when I went to Salt Lake City, I went to all the church museums. I learned all about it. And then oh my gosh, why was I blanking? There was like a second thing. It's fine. We'll come back. But I watched so much Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and they talk about their Mormon experiences. And I'm like, that is vastly different. Like how Heather Gay is talking about divorce on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is vastly different in how they're talking about it in the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, where it's like one of them is saying they're being excommunicated for being divorced. The other's like getting remarried in the temple. Like at what point like are we just saying it because you grew up that way or because I don't know. I would love to discuss more, but we'll get there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's talk about the core 8, maybe the like 8 ladies that we saw in the show. Or should we talk about the scandal that started the show? I think actually
we got to start with the scandal.
Yeah. So there was just like a quick little swinger scandal like that went around Momtok. And it's funny because we're all like, oh my gosh, like Taylor Frankie Paul is like the main one who exposed the scandal and who was a part of the scandal.
She was the only one I knew before this all happened, actually. So all these girls on the show were like, can Momtok survive this? And I'm like, can Taylor survive this? She's the only one
literally
that anybody knows, unfortunately.
And so like Taylor was like getting all this shit, and so she was like, fine, I'm just gonna do a TikTok live and like explain all of this. But so she was saying like, oh, like Momtok, like we're all swingers, like us and our husband, like we all have parties, we all just swing. And so all the girls are like, wait a minute, not me, like what do you mean, what are you talking about? And then what like comes out, I think after the show, because in the show they're like, so Taylor the swinging, and then they're all like, it was not me, like each of the 7 other girls are like, no. And so what happened was, it's the original 2, like Taylor and the original 2 girls who started Momtok, those are the ones that were like swinging or soft swinging, as they say.
They keep changing it. It started as the swinging scandal, then it turned into soft swinging. And
I'm just like, okay, whatever. But it's, are you just making out like with each other? Like, I don't know.
That's literally what it is.
But yeah, so it's like the original 3 and then their husbands who were like doing it, and the 7 other girls were like not involved. So they kind of like misled us, like Hulu and whoever made the doc was like misled us, because they were like, oh, get to know the swinging scandal. And I'm like, okay, like we're here for gossip, but only Taylor is the one that's involved in these. None of the other girls are. So I was like, oh, so we're not actually getting like more tea, like it's just coming from Taylor.
Low key,
Well,
high key, I was very let down by that because that sounds
Yeah.
stupid. Like that sounds crazy, but
that's what we
I was
wanted.
here for the tea. Yeah, like
Mhm.
you were
That's why we
promoting
all
the
clicked.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, we're gonna hear more. And then every single interview is like, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. And it's like, then why are we heavily promoting it? Like they literally had a swing
Yeah.
set at the Hulu premiere for them to take photos on. So it's like, what are we doing? Like I appreciate the marketing, but like don't just straight
Yeah.
up lie to me.
And did it get us all to watch it and be invested?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
100%.
we were tuned in, but don't lie like that. Like
No.
there
Yeah.
It
are
hooked
other
us.
ways,
We
truly.
got
And I
hooked.
mean, like drama in the whole show, like we'll talk about different girls, like that was interesting. Like
Juicy.
I was eating that drama up, and they
Mhm.
could have
Yeah.
used that in the promo, but like everyone knew the swinging scandal. Like, so I get it. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I love doing the deep dive on Reddit of like who's the other couple. Like back when it first started, like people were trying to piece together. Well, like this person said they were at Taylor's house on this day, and you can tell that
Yeah.
this couple was like the Reddit threads are
Mhm.
insane. Like that's when I
Yeah.
started really getting into it and deep diving into it. Is
Yeah.
like people
Yeah.
doing investigative work to figure out who
Yes.
these couples are.
Well,
It's
and that
crazy.
is my understanding is that's where it all kind of broke was on Reddit, and that's where
Mhm.
it kind of
Yeah.
like then it leaked onto TikTok and where Taylor felt like she had to like address it, I guess. But
Yeah.
that's what I heard was like the
Well,
investigators on Reddit.
yeah, and I feel like some of the girlies, I don't in Mom Talk posted like screenshots and things on Reddit. So it's
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
it's coming from inside the house. Like they're like,
Literally.
"Oh, I don't know who shared that." It was me. Like they did it. Like
Literally. And that's to stay
it's
relevant too,
crazy.
because they know
Yeah.
the Reddit threads were like popping back then. Like it was
Mhm. Mhm.
insanity. Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how all or a lot of them were claiming they didn't even know it was happening, but then one of them was like, "Well, so and so approached my husband about it." So it's like, what is the truth? Did you guys
What
know
kind
about
of
Exactly.
it or not?
party are you not
Yeah,
seeing that they're going off and like,
exactly.
Literally.
yeah.
Well, and
I mean, there's
especially
not that many
because
of them, so it's like,
yeah, and
what are we
somebody
doing?
brought spoiler alert, someone brought alcohol to one of the parties in during the
That was
show,
juicy.
and that was
Yeah.
like they're being told to leave the party or whatever. So it's like you would notice, yeah, if
Mhm.
people are
Mhm. Mhm.
leaving off in pairs that are not their pairs
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
So it is kind of, I don't know. The denial, not really giving for me. I feel like
It's just
someone's
like
lying.
it's just like you all know, like you're all friends, you all like talk so much, you're all at these house parties, and like if you leave before the like actual like swinging or soft swinging like starts to happen, like that's fine, but you're like, oh, there's an inner circle here,
Mhm.
the inner crew is
Some people are a
staying
little bit
behind.
closer than others.
Yeah,
Like you can pick
yeah.
up
Exactly.
on that vibe.
Exactly, so
What kills me though about that whole swinging scandal is Taylor went on Vile Files and someone was like, "Okay, where are the kids? Because all of y'all are moms. So like,
that's
where
so
are your kids?"
that's
And she was
Yeah.
crazy.
like, I'm not proud of it, but like they were upstairs. Her kids were
Oh, during the
upstairs.
swinging. Oh,
Her kids were
Yeah,
home, like there.
yeah.
yeah.
Obviously they're home, but like she's like, I'm really not proud of it, but like, yeah, if they were upstairs. I'm like,
And like I'm 0% shocked that she said that and that she did that. Like they
Yeah, that's
all are
true.
like, I'm here to party, so this is what we're doing.
that's insane.
Like,
I hope the kids had
oh my god.
soundproof headphones.
It's funny that
Seriously.
you say that though, because I do appreciate that they kind of kept the kids mostly out of the show. Like, yes, they're all moms, but at one
Mhm.
point, I literally was like, "Is Macy actually a mom?" I like had to go to her Instagram.
Yeah, I didn't know Jessie was a mom either, or
Yeah,
Jess. I was like,
yeah,
he
Yeah.
just does hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So I do
Yeah.
appreciate like it is really about the drama and the tea, even though they're,
Yeah.
you know,
And even at Taylor's like baby shower,
yeah,
her son was like his face was blurred out. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, like they're really like, don't show my kid on like TV, but like they're also in TikToks. Like I like
Oh
we've all
yeah.
seen them on
yeah,
TikToks, but I don't know, it's just different that it's
different
like
audience, I
the
guess.
mom and like their followers get to see this versus anyone who has a Hulu account.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She was dropping so much tea. She did
Yeah.
say, I don't know if it was Wildfire or another interview that she did this last week, but she was basically like, all the couples that were involved in swinging are now divorced. So
I saw
like,
that too. Yeah.
she's like, I'm not gonna name names, but like, you do the
Put the
math.
pieces
Like,
together.
Like, you
who's
see the
not
mom
married
talks.
anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big yikes. I know one of
Yeah.
them is one of the twins, Camille. I think it's Camille Monday. I
I
think
like
literally couldn't tell you.
because she's
I
divorced.
yeah. It's I can't remember the other girl's name. Wow, disappointing. Anyway, but
But just the logistics of that, like, I'm just like, how? She's like, we would swap and make out with each other or be next to each other in the bed. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not following. Like, I don't get the
Yeah.
appeal there. Like, it's so weird.
Well, the appeal is that they don't actually like their spouse. Like they got married too
Yeah.
young and don't
Yeah, I was
like
just about to say, like,
yeah.
that's the tea. Like, they're
Yeah.
all acting like teenagers who are like at a high school party or something, or like a college party. But it's like, just because they were all like forced to get married so young, had kids so young, and then like now they're like in their, rebellious, like crazy phase, and they're like holding crazy, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I thought we all did
Yeah.
this, but like they didn't, like, because they were,
She did
forced to
say
grow up so young.
one of the reasons that they stopped or they were like more hesitant was because her husband had like come in the room and said, hold on, what if one of you gets pregnant? We're not going to know who the
Yeah.
dad
Oh
is.
We gotta talk about
yeah.
that.
That's
Yeah.
hard swinging.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
hard.
That
That's
is
not soft.
that is full swinging.
Full
Well,
swinging.
but the thing is I guess they didn't get there because of what he said about them getting pregnant, which leads to the whole, and I don't know if Mormons believe in contraception, but it's like
You don't.
the fact
I don't
that
think so.
I didn't think so either, because that's like also kind of Catholic, but it's like,
Yeah.
let's just, I mean, if you're interested, there are ways to prevent what you're worried about. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't
But
have to, you're
that's too much
already,
still,
you're already going against your covenant of like marriage
But
by
also,
laying with
I'm
someone
like,
else. So like,
if
why
they're
not throw a
soaking and
condom in
like
the
doing
mix?
this
Well,
stuff already, like, hello, I mean,
exactly.
The
Because I thought that
loophole.
when they said that, I don't know if it was in the show or if it was on like a podcast, but when they said that, I was just like, that's the reason that nobody actually like officially are calling themselves
yeah.
swingers, because somebody was worried about getting pregnant by somebody else. It's like, that's great. That's crazy.
The way
Yeah.
they're like, we wouldn't know who the dad is. I was like, they're a DNA test, but okay.
Strong enough community to swing, not strong enough to raise the kids together, I guess.
No.
No, that's way too much. That's way too much. But there's so many loopholes. Like, I remember.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like, why are we talking about pregnancy if there's like you could make a loophole, I'm sure. Whatever. Anyway.
It's bad. I just remember in high school, my ex-boyfriend and like all of his Mormon friends, the stuff that they would say to circumnavigate like what they weren't supposed to be doing, it was insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I wish I could repeat some of it, but like it is
We'll keep it.
truly, crazy. And now they're all married with kids, and I'm just like, does your wife know that when you're in high school?
Dot.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Dot for everyone.
Wild.
Yeah, exactly.
So funny.
It's just so silly. It's like, rewriting the rules again. Like, just
do it.
Why can't you just repent? You know what I mean? That's the Catholic in me, I guess.
It's they're
just like go to confession.
They have to like fully meet. I heard like from my old roommates, they were like, to like repent or whatever, to like, you have to go to like, there's 3 like priests in there, then like your bishop, your your whatever, and you just have to read out every single thing that you've done wrong, and they're like, it's traumatizing. So like, and it's like, if it's a girl, like she's in this room with like 5 older men in this, and she's just like, I had impure thoughts, I kissed a boy, I blah, 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 and you're just like, no, absolutely not. That's awful.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I have thoughts on Mormonism, but I'll leave
it. That's a deeper dive.
I know, when I went to the church museum, I had a lot of thoughts, because I went by myself while Scott was at work, and I was just sitting there, and I'm like, there's just so much here.
It's insane.
There's so much here that I have so many thoughts about. But
let's talk about ladies. We have a list of them, and there are points I want to hit about all of them. So I feel like we should just go down the list and rattle off our points and talk about it.
Yeah.
So the first person we are going to talk about, Miss Whitney, who, spoiler alert for everybody who didn't watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, she is the villain of this whole thing. And she stays the villain. There's no redeeming it after like the show airs, and she's like not apologetic, not like nothing. She's still the villain. The girlies still seem to not like her. She like didn't when the rest of the girls, because it was like Taylor did the Vial Files and then the rest of the girls did the Vial Files, and like Whitney was the only one who was not at the Vial Files because she knew that Nick would ask her like hard-hitting questions. So like she was not there, and they were like, you can tell who's here and who's not. And I was like, I love the shade. Like it was
nickname.
We're all picking up what you're putting down. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I know. And I don't think, like, at one point she was trying to claim that it was like the edit, but I'm not, there's no way it was the edit.
So many
There's
of
just
these
no way.
things. So many of these things, like, you just say, like,
exactly. They
like,
didn't cut that together.
Exactly.
Yes.
The words coming out of your mouth are insane. Like, there's not an edit that can fix that. Like, I don't.
No,
I don't know.
We're just rewriting history. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. It's the whole season. It's like, I will say, I do think the producers hated her, and we'll probably get to that. But
you can tell by the shot with the tissue paper on her shoe, walking out with a cake. They did her so dirty.
That was the funniest thing. Because
I laughed out loud.
Zoomed out. I did too. I was like, they zoomed down, then they zoom back up, and she's like holding a cake. And I was like, was the zoom down necessary?
Yeah.
She like goes off to the bathroom, cry, and she walks out.
And little kitten heels on top of that.
Her foot.
It was so bad. The walk was weird. Like, it was just, they did her so dirty.
I know. I want to know whose idea it was for her to walk that cake out. Because, like,
the producer she was talking to, and probably hers.
Exactly.
Probably hers, because she was like, I want to be the center of attention. Like, I'm upset, and I need them to focus on me, who's already upset, and then also bring more attention to me for Macy's birthday. But yeah, so the first one. The first point on this list.
Yeah, so there's a point in like the first episode or two where I was not originally seeing the edit, the villain edit, because she was getting this really strong vibrator brand deal edit that was like making her look really good and very progressive. And then so I'm seeing everything online where people are like, oh, she's the villain, and I'm like, what happens? Because I'm kind of on her side a little. I mean,
I feel like obviously the first episode.
The
first episode, like, I'm like, okay, like, you just came back from Hawaii, because first of all, let's talk about it. So she's married, has 2 kids. She moved to Hawaii for 2 months because she found out that her husband was on Tinder and had been on Tinder, quote unquote, for all our audio listeners, had been on Tinder their entire marriage. And so she was like, I don't want to be in the spot. And then it was also like during when the swinger scandal was like coming out. So she was like, I just need to get away. So they moved to Hawaii for 2 months. She comes back. She is like, okay, I'm ready to like talk to everyone, and see everything. And then she has a meetup. Doesn't she first have a meetup with like her, Taylor, and Michaela at the restaurant?
I thought it was Macy and Whitney. No, Macy and Taylor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Macy and Taylor.
Wait, I think that's Macy.
No. There was like another 3.
Oh,
so Macy and Taylor met up to be like, oh, so you're seeing Whitney? She was like, yeah. And then Michaela and Whitney went to a restaurant with Taylor, and Whitney was like, okay, like, I want to squash this. Like, we're Momtok. Like, we have to survive this. We have to be close. La, 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 la. 5 minutes later, she's like, I hate that bitch. Like,
yeah.
Like, you're like, hello? But like, okay, so like during that time I was like, okay, like
Drama,
I'm
normal.
like, okay, they're dramatic, but you know, I'm not hating Whitney at this point, you know? And so she gets the girls together and she's like, okay, like I have something that I need to like want to ask your advice on. Should I do this brand deal? She pulls out a vibrator, like set basically, and the
And
girls are like,
mind
oh
you,
my gosh, like
Yeah.
yeah, I was
$20,000
about to say,
is the
I was
price
like, and
tag.
then she is like, for a picture, not even like a video of like, I don't know, she like a
Yeah.
picture of me holding this and saying like, buy this, $20,000.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
joking. And all the girls were
I
like, oh, get it. Like, go ahead.
Yeah.
And again, their mom talk and they're like trying to be more progressive, more like, like loving women, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, like, do it, obviously. And
yeah.
then she goes to her mom and has that awkward, her mom and her sister has that awkward
Yeah.
conversation. And I was like, this is weird. But,
I know. To be 30 and be like, "Mom, should I" like, it's one thing to, like, kinda bounce it off of her, but she was really asking for permission, which I thought was so
Yeah.
yeah,
interesting. Like,
yeah.
it's not really her choice. $20,000, girl? Like, you're gonna
Yeah.
say
That's
no?
not her choice. That's myself and I. Like, I
Yeah.
will think that choice.
Block me on Instagram for a
But
week and then call it, like, call it
Literally.
a
yeah,
day.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
so, yeah, I mean, it started off kinda strong for her because, like, that was a good way to start with, like, the way she was
Mhm.
editing or, like, discussing it too with the girls and with her mom was like, you know okay, this is sad. She's like, "My wedding night was a horror movie.
Yeah.
I want
And then
other
she
girls
was
to be
like,
empowered and blah, blah, blah." So it's like, that
first
is
of all, I was
so
like, okay,
positive.
yes. I was like,
Yeah.
love that. Um, and then it really just went downhill
Yeah.
from
It wasn't
there.
Yeah.
enough. It
No,
wasn't
it
enough to
wasn't.
save her,
It wasn't
unfortunately.
enough. They
The
tried at the
producers
beginning and then
tried.
saw how like terrible she was the rest of filming, and
Did what they
that's
had to
where it went.
do.
Yeah.
We
So the
also have to mention she looks like a different person in basically every
Every
episode.
scene.
her and her husband look like different people
Yeah.
every time they're on the
Yeah.
screen.
I don't
I
even
can't
know
It
even
was so
what's the
funny.
timeline. You can tell by their hair. Like it makes
I know.
no sense
And I
how
can't
long
pick
they were shooting.
I
Yeah.
cannot pick that man out of a lineup at this point. Like
No.
some of the husbands I still
No.
can't just generally because of their screen time,
Mhm.
but he had more than enough screen time and I just
Yes.
could
No,
Yeah.
there was
not.
times where he was bald. There was times where he had a full hairline, and then there was times where he
He
had
had the
long, like
plugins.
And then
He
he
had
had
the plugins.
blonde. He had like a mustache. I mean, the
it
mustache
was
is quick
slicked
to grow, I
back.
guess.
Like
Yeah, with
Yes.
the gold chain. Yeah.
what look
Um,
was that? That was
that was
horrible.
No.
crazy. But I remember someone said like they filmed like the pilot episode or like the first two episodes, and then there was like a large chunk of time,
Yeah,
and
because
then they
Yeah.
Taylor
came
got
back for the
arrested.
rest. Yeah, Taylor got arrested, and she's also fully like 8 months pregnant, like in
Mhm.
the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was crazy. Oh, I forgot you wrote his name. Connor's
Oh,
Tinder
Connor.
scandal. Love that.
It was
Remember his name?
definitely Grinder. We just have to say out loud. It was
Yeah.
100%
Yeah.
Grinder.
The thing
It
with
probably was
his
both. Like, let's
scandal,
be real.
yeah, the thing that with his scandal that really got me was like when she admitted it was their whole marriage. That to me
Or-
was crazy.
You
Like,
couldn't beat that out of
yeah.
me.
no, no, exactly. And the thing is like I get trying to work through things sometimes, but that is like, and he admitted that he never met up with anyone or something, or I supposedly. And it's
Yeah,
like that is
supposedly.
worse than physical cheating. He's like emotionally cheating on you for
Yeah.
Yeah.
years of your
And you
relationship,
keep
and you're
having
just
kids.
yeah.
She's
That's the
pregnant with
one.
a
She's
third kid.
pregnant right now
Yes. Yeah.
after like they already had two kids, and then like
Yeah.
they had the whole Tinder scandal and everything. And then they were like, you know what? Let's have another baby.
Yeah.
Girl, what?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I do get working through things, but
Absolutely.
years of
Mhm.
emotional cheating is like
Yeah.
wild to
Yeah.
just sweep under the rug. And I know they
Yeah.
have reasons, like they've made TikToks now about like he's kind of trying to justify what his actions, blah blah blah. But I'm just like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't.
It's like partly the Mormon trauma of like
Yeah.
they are just not going to get divorced. Like we saw her mom and her sister's reaction to the vibrator brand deal. Like we
Right.
know that like she's not going to get divorced.
Yeah.
And then it's just I feel like she wants to save face. Like
Yeah.
100%.
And they do get along. I mean, like they were
I think they're
friendly.
just
She was
friends.
Yeah, that's the
they
vibe
could
I
just
was
be
getting 'cause
pals. Like
they were talking about the drama and he came back and was like, "Do you want to hear what I heard from so and so's husband?" Like they do chat.
mhm.
Like they're not
Yeah, they're pals.
cold to each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
that whole thing, I was shocked.
Yeah,
My
that was
jaw dropped
crazy.
when she admitted the whole relationship. My jaw dropped. I was like, "Bro, that no.
Yeah,
I can't."
yeah. Can we also talk about her conversation with like a couple of the girls when she was like, okay, my husband has been like on Tinder our whole relationship. And then Taylor was like, I think I miscarried. Like, I
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
and she's like, how dare she not say, how dare she say that? Dare she steal my spotlight, basically? How dare she
Yeah.
like not check up on me? I was like, she like, okay, yes, like you're having a hard time. Your husband has been emotionally cheating on you this whole time. This girl's body, like she just miscarried a baby. She said she was losing a lot of blood. Her
Yeah.
doctors said she needs to go like every other day to the hospital. Like
Mm-hmm.
what? Your best friend, like, or at least one of your friends is saying that to you.
Yeah. She had
What?
no sympathy because she
No.
stole her
None.
spotlight.
Well, and
She's
it's like,
yeah.
when is a better time? Like, you've got all the girls there. It's a serious conversation you guys are
Exactly.
having already. Like,
Mhm.
at
Yeah.
what other point, if you're planning on confiding in these people, are you gonna call
Yeah.
them up again 2 days later and be like,
Be like,
also,
oh, I need to have a chat. Like,
yeah, like this is kind
no.
of like this is kind of the opportune time. Like,
Yeah.
we're discussing some big
Yeah.
things right now.
And they
So,
even like Taylor even like asked her a question or was like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, like, talking about her whole husband's thing. And then when there was a lull in conversation, she was like, also, I'm going like this is happening to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Update on
And
me.
so it was
Yeah.
like, it was not like, oh, I see you're saying this. Like, I'm cutting you off. Like, this is what I'm saying. It wasn't even that. Like, so I don't know why she's what she was
Well,
upset.
we
She's
know
just
why.
I don't
bitter.
get it.
She's so
Exactly.
bitter.
She's so just like self-absorbed and is just like, this is me. This is the Whitney show. So
God.
speaking of the Whitney show, let's talk about her infamous TikToks.
Yeah.
She so they a few episodes down, I'm like, how do we get to this? A few episodes down, they are at a like cabin in like Utah somewhere, or a condo in Utah, and they're like playing this truth box game. So they all write truths on a piece of paper and then they ask questions and you have to answer it, blah blah blah. So one of the questions Whitney gets is, are you jealous of Taylor, like for the clout, blah blah blah? And she's like, I'm not jealous of Taylor. She is. Okay, let's put that out there. She is. I'm not jealous of Taylor, but like it really sucked that like after the swinger scandal came out, like the hate that she got like
Went
subsided
away.
basically.
Yeah.
And when I made the RSV video, like I'm still getting hate. First of all, Taylor is still getting hate for the swinger video. So like let's put
Yeah.
that out there. But Whitney, my girl, your son, a week after being born, was in the hospital in the ICU, and you decide to film a TikTok with him in the background, like dancing and answering questions. I don't know what we're what we're talking
Those are
about
not
here.
even comparable.
No.
But a tidbit of information that I found out.
Ooh.
So someone was looking at the video and each of the girls got a different color card.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I wanted to bring this up
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Whitney's color card was blue,
Mm-hmm.
and that question was blue.
Mm-hmm.
So people are saying either Whitney wrote it or the producers wrote it, which I'm 90% sure Whitney wrote it, to have a storyline.
Yeah.
But to ask yourself a question like that so that you have an opportunity to be like, no one forgave me for the RSV video is
Also
literally insane. Literally insane.
Well,
and you just got mad at Taylor?
Yeah.
Exactly. Because she wanted sympathy. She's like, if I bring up that Taylor got her stuff moved past, maybe people will feel bad for me and move past my video.
And be like,
but
oh
it's
my
like,
gosh, that's
not
how it works.
Because Taylor took accountability. She's owned up to everything. Tried to make things better, but that's your kid. Like, nothing you did is made any sense. Like, that's your kid. She's like, I just wanted to make a happy video.
That's the one. That's the gag where she like doubled down. It was like it had just been like a week of so much sorrow and sadness and hardship, and I just wanted to like make a happy video and dance and la la la. I was like, your kid is lying in the background. Like,
that's the
you
other
could have
thing.
done like if she had just done the video and like off to the side, no kid in the background, like,
or just at home,
it wouldn't at home, like it wouldn't have been as crazy.
Yeah.
But the fact that the kid is just
in the hospital
laying there and you're like, hello?
You set up your phone, you pressed record, you watched it back.
Yeah, exactly.
She probably edited it too. Like, was like, oh, let me get this part out. Like,
the text captions on the top.
What are the odds she did one take though? Is the thing, you know what I mean? It's like low. They're
we
low.
all know how to make TikToks. Like, we're all just like,
literally, it's like wheezing. Like,
as far as me, but, like,
I think she could have moved past it if she would have done anything different with that video. If it was him in the hospital and she was serious, that would have been okay. If she was at home and it was a fun video, it might have been okay.
I'm answering these questions that I've been getting a lot. But
everything
it's the fact
together,
that she was like, I'm gonna dance.
Yeah.
Or like,
And I will say, I know I said at the beginning of this whole episode that Taylor was the only one I knew. When I went back, because when it came up in the show, I'm like, what is the RSV video? Obviously, I'm looking it up. I had seen this video. I saw it when it was going viral for her being problematic.
Too,
and so I didn't realize it was the same person. So I guess I kind of knew Whitney a little before watching the show. But I watched it back and I was like, oh, I remember seeing like people talk about this. But it's just like, girl, that is not something to be.
It's a bad look. And if you're trying to make your whole brand being a mom, like, what are you doing? Like,
oh my god, that was wild.
That poor kid.
So insane.
I'm surprised she even brought it up, but like you said, sympathy, attention, a storyline, and I guess to get it out of the way,
and she just like wants all the attention on her, whether good or bad. But she thinks she really is like, any publicity is good publicity. So she's like, here I am talking about myself, like bringing up this terrible moment, but people are talking about me. So
and we are, but I didn't follow her.
6 more
20 minutes.
Yeah. She's the biggest one though. She's like, her and Taylor are probably the two.
Yeah.
And I need to talk about Jen. Anyway, so just a couple like shady moments that she's done. Let's just like quickly go through it. One, Taylor invited all the moms to her baby shower because Taylor's now pregnant. So she is having a baby shower. She invited all the moms. And everyone was like, okay, I'm going. They all show up. They're like, where's Whitney? She's like, I don't know. And then Layla was like, I saw her yesterday. I don't think she's coming. And they're like, no text, no nothing. Like, hello. So that was crazy. That
Taylor's mom calls her to ask her where she is.
Yeah,
Taylor's
that was
mom
crazy.
is low key like an icon with like all the thing. With what she says to Taylor is like, are you stupid? Like, it's like, what are you doing? I was living for her, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Taylor's mom calls her and is like, what's the deal, girly? Like, where are you? And she's like, I just really think this should be a conversation between me and Taylor. And she's like, well, I'm having it with you right now. So why aren't you here? Why didn't Taylor get a text?
I can't believe she answered that phone call is the thing.
I think she said she didn't have
It was
her
an unknown
number
number.
saved, so she
Yeah.
was like, "Gotta answer it somehow." But
Yeah, I thought that was crazy to not send a text. And then I know it was Macy's launch, right? Where she also
yes.
did not show up. And Macy was like her
No.
Yeah.
BFF ride or die
Macy
throughout
was
the
Yes.
first seven
actually her
eps.
BFF. Yeah.
Yeah. And she didn't show up to
Um,
that either. Supposedly she sent a text beforehand or maybe after, like the
It
receipts
was
are coming out
after, I think.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whitney was
so
claiming it was before. The receipts
Whitney
are showing
posted
after.
receipts
Yeah.
and then like didn't post the top of the like text so you couldn't see the date and time. And then Michaela was like, Michaela has been so messy online, which I love.
Me too. Oh my gosh.
She posted, she was like, girl, like this was the night of, like, that's
Yeah.
your best friend's launch party. And then like all this
And
stuff. So that
what
was
she's saying
crazy.
in the confessionals is like, well, they're not really my friends, so I don't have to go to their events. But it's like the reason
Yeah.
they're not your friends is because you're not telling them you're RSVPing and you're not going and you're not telling them
Yeah.
you're not going. Like there's
Yeah.
layers here. And I think
Exactly.
you need to acknowledge that. Like it's one thing to not get an invite and not go, and it's another to RSVP no beforehand.
Mhm.
It's another to just ghost somebody and then just claim
But
not friends.
But the time that you're not invited, you
Right.
show up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Michaela's birthday party is like one of the last episodes. And they're all like, we're having this great time, la la la. In walks Whitney holding this giant ass bag. And they're all just so shocked to see her. And she like is like, walking out, he walks straight to Michaela and it's like, I got you a gift. And Michaela is like clearly so annoyed that she's there.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, well, love you. Like, I'm going to go. Love you. Like, see you another time, blah, blah, blah. And she walks out again, making the whole thing about her and
Yeah.
then completely ruining Michaela's birthday. Like, she was so upset and she's like, oh, worst, time ever. And I was
Mhm.
just like, what are you doing, girl? It was
Yeah,
crazy.
so you can't really redeem those edits if you're not going to these events and you're not
Mm-mm.
texting people beforehand or
And it was like
calling or
Michaela said she didn't invite Whitney, so we know
yeah.
the producers were like, they're having the
This
birthday party at this
yeah.
roller rink. Go.
Yeah.
Which I get, good TV, but like, come on. So
Yes.
The Frankie Paul, the one we all
here
knew
we go.
before.
Yeah.
Love. I stand.
Yeah.
Actually, me too.
I
She's
like her.
messy, but
She's
she's
so
honest.
messy. I
She's
think
messy, but I feel like is like the same amount of mess as the other girls. It just didn't because we now know them. It
Yeah.
like it seems less like she seems so chill and is just like doing what the other girls are doing too. I'm like,
She did take a back seat though after she got arrested. Like
Yeah.
one of the
She had
producers was
to.
like,
good for
she
her.
had to.
It was
Yeah, she
legally
literally-
mandated. She literally had. She was legally
She
forced to do
literally
that.
yeah.
couldn't.
Okay,
Yeah.
true.
I remember seeing that popping up, like their video. I watched like the whole cop video and everything.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
insane.
The
Like,
way I was shocked when Hulu was like, we have the body cam footage. I was like,
And I was like,
oh yeah, it was leaked a
like,
while
okay.
ago.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's great.
Seriously.
I had no idea. I texted Aaron at the end and I was like, what's happening right now?
Yeah,
I was like,
and her
I
daughter
know.
was home. Her daughter was home and
Yeah.
got hit
Yeah.
too. It's like a whole
Oh,
yeah. Her daughter
They
got
didn't
hit with a
mention that.
chair.
that
Yeah.
explains why she was arrested. Because at first I
Mhm.
was like, it's kind of word versus word when she was like, he attacked me, and then or like her recounting on the body cam or whatever. But
Yeah.
if a kid
Yeah.
wasn't, that makes sense that there was maybe a third party.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
Mhm.
sad.
I know. It was yeah. But she
Truly.
was super remorseful. Like she definitely
Yeah.
and I understand what she
Absolutely.
was saying of like trying to push Dakota away so that like she doesn't have to break it off essentially with him. Like he decides to leave. Like I totally get
Mhm.
that. Like I don't like Dakota, by the way. I'm just gonna throw it out there. He sucks.
No, I don't think
No.
anyone does.
Nope.
He's
No.
one of the
No.
bottom 3 people in this show.
Yeah.
And we've already
Yes,
for
talked about
sure.
2 of them. Whitney
Yes.
and Dakota. Like,
It's literally
hello.
Whitney, Dakota, and Zach. Like they all
Yes.
suck.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, Dakota, his vibes are just not there, and he just
He's
His vibes are
weird.
yeah.
awful.
Yes.
Weird.
Yeah. He's not ready to be a dad. Like I know he literally is one now, but
Yeah.
no, he was not
He was
ready.
just
He
like,
likes the idea of it.
Yeah,
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 for
yeah.
sure, for sure.
He likes the
for
idea
sure.
of it. And he's like, just like a hookup of Taylor's that just didn't go away.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
she was
for
like, okay, I wanted to
sure.
like hit it, quit it, or like see you for a couple months and then we would have moved on.
Yeah.
But then she got pregnant.
But he
So
likes the fame. I think that's what it is. He
Oh,
likes
that's
I
the
get
fame.
that.
He likes the novelty of like being with Taylor Frankie Paul. Like,
yeah. I mean, well, he was like, he slid into her DMs. He like saw her like
Yeah.
on social media somewhere, slid into her DMs. And then she was like, oh, hey, you know, and then he was like, oh, basically my celeb crush responded to me.
mhm.
Here we are,
I
you
would
know,
do the
kind of thing.
same.
I
I
would
mean,
be locked
he's
in too.
just
Like,
he's milking it for all it is. You know what I mean?
he
He's
really
on
is.
TV now. So, I mean,
He's on
he low key kind of won.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
He did. He did.
unfortunately, but
Big
Yeah.
yikes, though. Big yikes.
for sure.
It's
Mhm.
French. The Macy's photo shoot, taking off his shirt and being like, "Can we get some photos?" had me livid.
That was
The
Livid.
taking
the
off his shirt was crazy.
One, the bod wasn't even good enough to take
The
off the
bod
shirt.
wasn't bodying,
It was
honey.
not. Number
Keep it
two,
on.
asking a professional photographer if you can hop in to get I would.
For a
Macy
paid, like,
was so nice about that too.
she
Like
really
she was obviously
was.
upset, but she let it like she could have been like, no, like she already hates the man.
That's
She
not.
literally does.
She
I
let
love
it
that she
ride.
didn't change it up anyway. She
Nope.
was like, well, I'm the one that cares for Taylor
Okay.
and wants to protect Taylor. So,
The
like,
way
I
they
don't like
literally
you.
the way
I
that
was like,
she tried to have a conversation with Dakota and it just turned into Taylor and one fighting in front of her.
Yeah.
them.
It's like,
And
come
then
on.
he was like, can I meet you in private? I was like, no, like
No.
Yeah.
you could get killed. Like they met
Don't
in like
trust
this
you.
like
Yeah.
parking lot, and I was like, he gets in her car and she's like, oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, that's the vibes for the whole
Yeah.
thing, honey. Like
And he's like, I don't like you, Macy. Bro, you're in her car.
you're in my car.
Like, go
Oh my God.
home.
His
Leave.
audacity was crazy.
Yeah,
Literally.
he's insane. He's
Yeah.
I was
literally insane.
shocked. Well, first of all, I was shocked that Macy took that like meeting with him
Yeah,
in
me
her
too.
car when there was no producer around. Like if
Mhm.
Yeah.
like they had stayed at that park, kind of just like stood outside, they could have like had a little chat, and producers would have been there when he starts yelling at her and is like,
Mhm.
well, you don't know, like all this stuff. So I was like so gagged that they were like, let's go to Swig. And you're like, hello.
I love it. She's so well adjusted though that even when he started yelling at her, she's like, I'm not the villain here. Like she didn't get riled up back. She just had her
Yeah.
receipts of like, is your
She's like,
relationship? It's not my fault that
I'm
Taylor
just trying to
hates
protect
you.
my friend,
Yeah.
like who I've been friends with for ages. So it's like
Macy was the ride or die of this season,
Yes.
honestly,
she really
but
was.
we'll
She
get
really
there
was.
too. But yeah, Dakota, big no. Big no.
Big
Hard no.
hate.
Taylor, it's too late for you, I think, but too bad.
Unfortunately.
I
I wish she
know.
was smarter. I love her, but I wish she was smarter.
Yeah.
I really wish.
Like
If she just had a couple more brain cells in there.
something.
She
She's
stopped
lacking.
blacking out with her
She's so
drinking.
close.
Like
Yeah.
she could
Yeah.
have seen the red flags, but
Big yikes, unfortunately. And now every time I see a photo of them, I'm like, this is the fakest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like,
literally, I
it's
like obviously like after I watched the show, I was like, okay, let me go on their Instagrams, like check it out. And they're like in Hawaii, like visiting for him, blah blah blah. Like I'm like, ew, erase this man. Like
yeah.
go away. What are we doing?
I need to know if they've gone to like couples therapy. Like they look, I mean, and I know you project online differently than like the reality, but
Yeah.
they have really been riding the like we're a happy couple on TikTok and
Mhm.
Instagram. So like I just need to know like behind the scenes, are y'all lying to us like
I think
still? Or like
didn't
are you
she
guys in a
bring
better
up
place? Or like what's the you know what I mean?
didn't she bring up that she wanted to go to therapy like with him or something? Or am I just making that up?
I don't remember.
I don't either,
remember.
but it's very possible that she said that and just kind of because again the backseat
Glossed over.
situation. Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Who is
Too
next?
crazy. Well, next on the list is Michaela. I don't have much to say about her, but I feel sorry for
neither.
her as a victim. She got pregnant when she was 15, had a baby when she was 16, and the gag is her husband is was 21. So yuck, and we hate that. Like
her parents making her get married then to make it better.
Yep. Is it better, or is your 16-year-old daughter who was impregnated by a 21-year-old still just roaming around the streets? Like,
literally illegal, but
and they cut so much of her storyline out with like her skin condition and stuff.
Well, that's the
they
thing.
really said it. They like said it at the beginning, and then it never was brought to light again. I was like, wait, like,
well, and
she's been
same with
ill, like all this stuff.
Did we? I don't know if I remember even seeing her husband after she like talked about like I remember being
so.
He was like in the background, like I just
they need not to
like,
put him in the spotlight.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. I feel like she's like,
I
got married at 16 and my husband was 21, and then they just like kept it moving and then cut her whole storyline. I'm like, y'all can't.
I don't even think she said. I don't even think she said my husband was 21. She was just like, I got married at 16, like blah blah blah.
Oh,
and then people
did.
like
Maybe it was
later. I think people like on the internet were like, wait, do we see like when they pop up the ages, they see like, oh, she's 23, he's 28 or something.
Someone did say in their original confessional when they were introducing themselves that their husband was like 20 something, and it might have been someone else, but it might have been Michaela, because somebody did say, I was 16, he was 21. I remember, because I remember being like, we're just not talking about this. Like,
they just like glossed over it.
But I don't know if it was her. Maybe it was one of the, because she's not the only one, unfortunately.
No.
Yikes.
But I was a big fan of her, like towards the end for sure. Like her birthday party, like and then now her talking back at Whitney, like online. I love it.
Her personality came out like the last few episodes, and then like now we're seeing it online, which is really good. Because she deserves some fame, and not with her creepy husband.
Exactly.
And T-Way, do you have any more points about her?
No. Sorry, girl.
You know, love.
Maybe season 2.
I'll love. Maybe season 2.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that her birthday party, so they went to Vegas for her.
I thought that was Layla.
No. Never mind. That was Layla. I apologize. We move on. Her birthday party was the roller rink that her creepy husband planned for her.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jessie. I liked Jessie. She like really she was like saying it like it is. And I was like, thank God someone needs to. Her and Demi, I was like, okay, slay, like give me like gag Whitney, like literally just say it like it is.
That's the thing. I low-key still can't tell her and Demi apart, but that's okay because the two of them together, their energies did what I wanted.
I think I can because like one of them is a hairstylist and the other one is the one that I can kind of recognize.
Her hair is immaculate. I will say that. Like it's always on point. So I'll give her that. But love her.
Oh my God. I was gagged when they went to that cabin in the woods and they all had the sweatshirts with their names on it. I was like, y'all did this. Hulu did this.
Well, first of all, every time you see them, they all have a different like sweat set on that has the name and then like the shorts say like Hulu on it. And you're like, thank you to whatever producer did this.
Yeah, because that really helped during the fight with Demi Whitney. Like that really, so that helped a little bit, but so I like Jessie.
Now that I'm reading my notes, Jessie is the hairstylist. And then Demi is the one married to a 46-year-old man.
Which I love. I'm sorry.
I loved that. And it was later in life too. So it's not like it's not Michaela.
Exactly. That's the gag.
It's later
as
life,
adults.
like that. Yeah.
Or did he's fine too.
Did they meet as adults?
Wait.
Yeah.
But it was off limits. Like you can know someone.
Yes.
Right.
You know?
And then they met again, like while she was in her 20s.
Post divorce.
And I'm sure Utah's a small place, so like,
okay,
you can know someone as a kid, and like, I mean, for him, it's a little weird to know her as a 6-year-old.
He's like,
But they did, yeah, she did mention they like reconnected, I guess. So that
Yes.
there was
But
nothing
he looks like
questionable
a
happening.
stand-up guy. He looks super nice.
He
Yeah.
seems like it from everything that we've seen in the show. Like,
Yeah.
I loved him because when they were talking about going to Vegas, she was like, well, what if we go to, you know, a Magic
like
Mike
the
show or
Magic
whatever?
Mike
He's
show.
like, what
Yeah.
do I have to care about? Like, why
He's
do I
like,
care
go
about
ahead,
that? And I'm
girl,
like,
you're grown up. And she's like,
yeah,
exactly.
He's
thank
like,
you.
you're not gonna
exactly.
bring a hamburger home when you have steak. I was like,
yeah,
my man.
yeah.
I said,
I was
okay,
like,
fair enough.
if you're secure in yourself, you know there's nothing
Yeah.
to worry about. So
And
I
he
When
love
he
that
looked
for
like
him.
that, he
Also,
knows it.
First of all.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he's literally a model.
I did like that, like, half the husbands, like, when the girlies were like, okay, like, we're going to a Magic Mike show, they were like, okay, have fun. Like,
Because they make the
Yeah,
money.
no, I took notes. I was like,
You.
Macy's husband, Demi's
Yep,
husband,
yep,
Jesse's husband, we
yep.
stand because I
stand.
was the way that they just lived their best life. Like,
They were just like, okay, see you.
yeah,
Like,
that's a green flag for me. Everybody who's mad at their
absolutely.
significant other, y'all are the toxic ones. And you know that. That's the
Yeah.
thing. They're all admitting it. They're like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not having a good time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I
Girl,
don't
get
think
your
Michaela's
man.
husband said anything, but she
Yeah,
herself felt uncomfortable. She was like, I don't want to
which
be
is
here.
fine. You
I
know,
was like,
that's a
okay,
personal
again.
choice.
Yeah, like, go
Yeah.
ahead.
But yeah, I love Demi's husband.
Yeah,
too.
he was an icon.
Every time he was on screen, I was like, yeah,
I was like,
Nice.
thank
he's in
you.
here.
Nice.
And I was like, Demi and him just like look good together. I
They
was like,
do. They're
okay,
cute.
like,
Yeah. Yeah,
we love
they're
to see
cute.
it. Yeah.
Did we have anything else for her? I
Uh,
feel like those were like, for me, my main things.
I
Oh,
just which one of them was it? Jesse who was talking to Whitney while she was on the floor in the bathroom or in the closet?
that
Which one
was
of them?
Demi, I think. I thought.
Okay, Demi.
Yeah.
I think it was probably both of them like saying
Well,
things, but the main one.
yeah.
So when they were at like the cabin or condo or whatever in Utah, Whitney obviously like has a meltdown and then is in the closet crying, and Macy is trying to comfort her, and then Taylor, who she had a meltdown with, is also in the closet like trying to comfort her. And then Demi comes in and is like, listen, why are you crying right now? You made this awful for everybody. Like, hello, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I loved that.
So
I loved that.
She's saying what everyone was thinking, like the watchers, I guess, you know, because
yeah.
I don't know what the girls there were thinking necessarily, but as a watcher, I was like, you're hitting the points that I need Whitney to like hear right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like, yeah,
exactly.
You're giving us what we want.
Exactly. So we already talked about how kind of her iconic like combo with Dakota was, and how she didn't stutter. She was like, I'm trying to protect Taylor. You're literally not. Like, you can come and go. Like, I am here always. I do like, someone wrote crucial middle ground role. I do think it was like really, it was necessary because we needed someone who was like in between the sinners and the saints.
Mhm.
To like discuss. Also, we didn't talk about that, how they half of them call each other the sinners, half of them call each other the saints
Because
and
of
like
Jen Affleck.
Please.
exactly.
Too soon.
Jen Affleck, you have to say the last part.
No,
She's
I
the
know.
only one that still has her last name on the name cards.
Hulu did that for a reason, to clown her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They had to.
Exactly. It was funny. But yeah, so four of them are like saints, and they're the like good Mormons, and then four of them are like the sinners, you know. So
I know. I feel like
but
Macy,
it was just like,
she was like lumped in with the Saints, but very like she did move between both. I felt like generally,
I
like
just
more
thought
than
it was
others.
because she was like just BFFs with Whitney.
Whitney,
and Whitney
yeah.
was the Saints, so I think that's just why she was roped into that.
Yeah.
But at
not
first,
that she's
like,
done anything inherently anti-Mormon.
Oh, no.
In my opinion, like,
exactly.
but yeah.
She seems just chill and Mormon, but it was like she at the first like few episodes, like you could see how close her and Taylor were. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh. And so but then when they were like, she's a part of the Saints, I was like, what do you mean? Like, she's so close with Taylor like this. Like,
Yeah.
but good middle ground.
It said more when Whitney didn't show up to her event, I felt like, because she really was kind of like trying to be the bridge
She
for
was her
Whitney with the
only friend there.
girls.
Like,
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
so.
know. Yeah, I just don't understand why she didn't go to that event, but she got to
Yeah,
make it
that
all
made no
about herself.
sense.
That one was silly because Taylor, I get it. You have this own vendetta against her for the
Yeah, this
clout, but like
one-sided
Macy's
beef,
your
but
girl, so I thought that
literally.
was crazy. And they didn't even cover her backstory. I like looked her up after the show
Yeah.
because I like her and I follow
Her
her now, but
backstory is like so
yeah,
tragic.
yeah, literally. So I was just like, I stan you even more now, girl. But
She's like gone through so much. It's just like so crazy that her only like plot point in the show was to be either Whitney's friend or like Taylor's friend. And it was sad because there was so much like substance to her, but we
the
didn't get to
drama
see
didn't
that.
lead it there. So
Yeah, except for her launch party.
yeah, exactly.
Layla, I really liked Layla.
I love
Me
her.
too.
Our
I
Black
also follow her
queen,
now.
like, yeah, she's funny. She got divorced. She got out of a toxic relationship, and she's just like trying to live her life. I loved that one part where they were like, "Oh, like Layla, do you want to talk to this man at her divorce party?"
Yeah.
I was like,
Too
"Girls,
soon, girl.
please." But yeah, no, she was an icon. She was a part of the Sinners, and I was like, why is she a part of the Sinners? And but only just because she got divorced is really
Yeah,
pretty
is
much.
that's really it. Yeah.
Yeah. I do like they mentioned at one point that she herself converted to Mormonism at 16
Oh
to
yeah.
like kind of
Which
fit
is
in, I guess. So I do feel like that made her more relatable to the audience in a way because she was not truly like some of these girls were literally raised like on these,
Born,
you know,
raised, yeah.
yeah, versus like I mean, it's still you're indoctrinated at 16, like that is still real and valid and everything, but I feel like it just had a little bit of a different impact on her and made her more of a real person. Like,
Yeah. It really did. It was also just like, I mean, growing up in Utah, like how can you I feel like
yeah.
everybody there is Mormon. So it's like, and the like small percentage that's not, like, what else are you gonna do? They're all like going to church, going to
Well,
whatever,
exactly.
doing all this, and you're just
I
like,
might as well
okay.
join.
So
yeah.
her being like, to make friends, I joined the Mormon church. I was like, okay, girl.
I thought, yeah, it
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Especially in Utah. So
But yeah, very
yes,
relatable.
okay.
I every time she's on screen, I'm like, I love her energy. She was so positive and just her
Exactly.
divorce vibes I was living.
It's
So
giving me hair inspo for sure.
ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm
Is
thinking I'm
she
gonna
has
go that
some
route. 'Cause
okay.
I think she gets, I don't know if she gets tape-ins or what. Regardless, I think I'm gonna go that route. Because I saw her
She
like
does the
natural hair.
sew-ins. She
Yeah,
does the
and it's
sew-ins that
short
what's her name does.
that Jessie does. Yeah. So I think I might do that. We'll
Who's
see.
trying to take a trip to Salt Lake? I think they're in Provo, but we could
Are
go.
we taking
I
a
would
trip?
take
Because
a
I need to go
trip.
to
I would totally take a trip.
The thing is like we've been to Utah twice in the last year for Scott's work. Like I will be going
the
back.
gag is like
Let's
that's
all
only
go.
an 8-hour drive from me. Like
I'll
I
tag
will
Low-key,
be driving, but
high key Salt Lake City, I have a good time every time I go. I'm
I would
have
hitting
I
up
been
the
love.
soda
nonstop?
shops.
Have I
I'm
been
like,
nonstop thinking about swig and soda? Like I
Yes.
have
Yes.
a Dr. Pepper right here. Like, oh,
I
do
would
I need
love.
to go? Yes. So,
but love
Jen,
Layla.
but love
Ugh.
Layla. She's an icon. I have so many thoughts about
About
my
Jen
girl
Affleck.
Jen,
Affleck.
about Jen Affleck,
Yes.
who I at the beginning was like, okay, I can give or take her because she like
Yeah.
didn't say much. But then towards the middle and end, I felt so bad for her. She was also like speaking her mind and just being like her own person. And so it was like good to see and love to see. But then like all this crazy stuff. Like she sadly is married to one of the men who is like an actual, well, I'm sure they're all practicing Mormons, but he's like a traditional Mormon, like is like the man makes the rules, the man is the head of the house, like blah blah blah. But sir, she's making the money. So
Yeah.
you gambled away the little money that your family gave you, and now she has to support your booty. I know. I'm sorry. I'm just so heated when it comes to this man.
Yeah, so they introduce her, and she's like, my husband is like second cousins with Ben Affleck and Casey Affleck, and claims have since come out like showing that's not necessarily true. That's like, but okay, I will say I don't hold that against Chet. If it's not true, I don't hold that against Jen, because it's like she probably, if her husband told her that, that's what she's going on. Like if Scott were to say I'm related to so and so, I would believe him until proven otherwise.
Exactly.
So if it's not true, it's not necessarily her fault, but it was definitely like a Hulu was clowning her because they kept like there's no other Jens on the show, because that's one thing. If there was multiple, you might keep like an initial or a name, but every time she's on screen, Jen Affleck. It's like, girl, we
and she's like, I'm the first Jen Affleck, like before Jennifer Lopez.
But it was like it's not even like, I feel like it was less clowning like Jen Affleck, Mormon girl, more clowning Jennifer Lopez. Just gotten divorced. Ben Affleck,
but like also seen with Ben Affleck kissing this week.
Gag me.
I love it. I'm sorry, I love it. I love the mess between the two of them. I eat it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it's messy, but so Jen was we're just moving on. She is I would say she's the leader of the Saints, even though Whitney thinks she's the leader of the Saints.
She started it with her baby blessing.
Exactly. Let's talk about the baby blessing, because the way that supposedly everyone was invited to this baby blessing, and then she started uninviting people because her husband didn't want them there.
He was like,
I need you to stand up.
She was like, Zach's just not close with some of you and blah blah blah. But then like when Demi and Jesse got him, like her on the phone, Zach was obviously creeping in the background and was like, yeah, like I just want it to be good energy, good vibes. Like
you get the cheater, the gay cheater to come.
Right.
And nasty Whitney with her RSV video, but like
help me understand how that's better vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so insane. Like to uninvite Layla, that was the gag. I was like, Layla has done nothing, but he's probably like a sinner, divorced,
a black sinner.
Like, I was about to say
that's the one.
Yeah, that's
she is a like fully Puerto Rican. So like, what's his actual tea?
Yeah. So, when and the sad thing is like it wasn't even like, I just need her to stand up. Like like it's your baby. Do you want your friends there? Like just because he doesn't want them there, does not mean like y'all have a conversation about it. He doesn't make the rules. Obviously, we've discussed he's the traditionalist and like he does make the rules. And it's tough because she's so young. I mean, she's 21 at the time of filming is what they put on her little. So it's like she's got nothing to go on, like besides these Mormon values and her divorced friends.
And I was like at the beginning when they were talking about it, I was like, okay, like I can see like, because it's not a baby shower, because I would be like, it's like crazy to invite, but a baby blessing, I guess, is like a deep like in the Mormon church like thing that they have. So I was like, okay, I get that it's like more like for the people, they all say they go to church, but I was like, I get it's more people who are like involved in the church and like for a more that kind of vibe, but I was still like, it was so just nasty of Zach to,
and she didn't even tell them. Like they have to ask you, like, oh, we heard we were uninvited.
Yeah, that was wild, like, actually.
When one of the girls was like, oh, like I need to find a dress to wear to Jen's baby blessing. And then the other girl, I think it was Michaela, who was like, are you invited? Are you what? And then she's like,
was wild.
Huh? That was a crazy way to find out. And she, like, what would she have done if that conversation didn't happen? Like, would she, like, they knock on the door, like, because you gave them the date, time, like, everything.
Yeah.
What would have happened?
You put it in the group chat.
Literally, it's in the group chat. So it's, she can't even be like, I didn't tell you that, like gaslight them and be like,
she did say that though.
I know she did, but then she was like, but then they were like, it's in the group chat, and she was like, oh, okay, yeah. But I was like, what are we doing?
that was the first like big red flag. Like, I mean, there's a lot, but that I was
Yeah.
like, Zach, bro, you do not
You're
control everything.
literally terrible. And so then
Literally.
we find out like around that time and at the baby blessing, like Jen, obviously the breadwinner, Zach is in med school,
He
and
wasn't even in
Jen is
school,
No,
med
he
school
wasn't.
yet.
He was doing
Just
like
regular
prereqs or
school.
he was like,
whatever.
yeah, he was like in college. And so like Jen is helping fund that and like all the like tests and things he has to take before like MCAT before he gets into med school. So she's taking care of his baby, making the money, and he's like, I don't care if you do mom talk, like you need to be done with it. Like I'm tired of it. And she's like, but it's how like it's my outlet. It's also like how we make money. Like, what are we talking about? And he's like, no, like you need to stop that. I was like, you're literally insane. And that was just the beginning of
Yeah.
how insane this man is and like how we see that throughout the show.
Looking the way that he does, which is insane.
Please. I kept looking back at photos because I'm like, is he dyeing his hair? But he's not. I think it's natural, but it looks so raggedy. So I'm like, are you sure it's not bleached? But I don't think it is. Like his roots do not look like bleached.
Yeah.
So I'm like, raggedy.
You just are looking like
ass, long hair.
bad. Like
yeah. Yeah, so it all comes to a head when they go to Las Vegas and we see Zach for real for the first time.
So like Taylor's obviously pregnant. She's like, I want to drive. And then Dakota was like, I don't want to like leave her alone for like the last month. Say she goes into labor. I want to be there, blah, blah, blah. So then Jen and Zach are like, okay, we'll drive with you. It'll be great. Road trip. And
they're the
so
only two
Zach
significant
and
others
Dakota
that
are
went.
the boys that are there, which already red flag. And then the girls are in the house, the guys are at this hotel, and who plans, I can't remember who plans, but they're like, okay, I have a surprise for Layla. Yeah. They're like, I have a surprise for Layla's birthday, like blah blah blah. Like everyone come on the party bus, like get ready, come on to the party bus, like we're going somewhere. So then they start seeing these like signs out the window and they're like, oh my God, are we going to Chippendales? And they're like, yes, surprise. And so they obviously had to buy like the VIP package of like meeting some of the guys there and like the whole thing. Anyway, so you can obviously see that Jen is like uncomfortable. But I think more in the sense of, oh, I know my husband wouldn't like this. I should probably like, go. And that she knows she's being filmed. So she's like, Zach's gonna see this and he's gonna like go crazy. So she calls him just to be like, yeah, it was a complete surprise. Like, here we are. And he like is like, you're a mother, you're a wife, like I don't know how you could do this, blah blah blah. And he like is like, I can't talk to you right now. Like he goes off and then it's like, I can't talk to you right now. And so she's sobbing. She's like, they haven't even gone into the show yet. They're just sitting there, like,
they're in the lobby.
Burgers. Yeah, they're just sitting there eating burgers. She's telling him before like all this is happening, that she didn't know what was happening and that they all just got there. And she's like freaking out, sobbing. And then also during this whole time, Taylor is also texting Dakota, who again is there, and he's like, you're a pregnant woman, you're a mother. And they're just being stupid. And so they get into a fight. And so Taylor, Jen, and then also Michaela, who you could see was uncomfortable being there, we're like, we're just gonna go back to the Airbnb, like you guys enjoy your night, like we're just gonna chill. The girls come back, they're like, yeah, best show ever, like loved it. And then
Zach's threatening divorce to Jen for being in the vicinity of 10 other men.
Divorce. Like
he won't pick up the phone. He's sending her paragraph essays and Hulu zooming in on the screen.
Yeah, that was so messy. That was so messy. I wish, did one of us save it? Because I was like,
I read it.
Yeah.
I read it definitely, but I was like, does anyone have it saved so we could read a part here? But it was basically just like, how could you do this to me, your family, like you're a mother, blah blah blah.
No
like
morals.
Cut to he's literally gambling the money that she gave him.
She was like, I'll give you $2,500 or something.
And he's going off on her for the money that
exactly. He's like,
well, spending the money she
how could
gave
you consider
him.
yourself a Mormon? Like blah blah blah. Like,
why would you put yourself in that situation?
Is against like the Mormon beliefs.
So the thing is like when they asked Jen about in her confessional if they could talk about it, and she said, as long as we don't make him look like an addict, and then they cut it, and then they never bring up the gambling again.
Yeah.
He gambled all that money away.
He gambled that whole money away. It was like
a gambler, not just that money. He's definitely got a problem.
Exactly, because they all knew, and they were like, are you sure you're gonna let him? Like, are you sure you're gonna be good, like in Vegas, like gambling, blah blah blah.
Even Dakota was like, he's gambling. Like, even Dakota like, this is bad.
When the red flag is saying this is a bad situation, that's never good. No, so that there's no redeeming Zach, truly, I don't think. Like,
I don't think
she
so
recognized
either.
it. She disappears for like 12 hours. Nobody knows where she is. Well, they have an idea, but with her husband, obviously, but not answering the phone.
She comes back, she's like, we had a really good conversation. I was like, did you? Because
and it's like the way she's acting like nothing happened. She's like, we're good now. It's like, girl,
I was like, BFFR, sister. Like, blink twice if you need help. Like, we will come get you. It was so.
It's just so sad.
So awful. So sad.
Because clearly they didn't get divorced and whatever. Like that.
Yeah, clearly they didn't get divorced. They also moved to New York, even though she was like, my job's here. Like, I don't want to move. My family's here, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, I got into med school more important. Here, so. And she's like, but what about the money? Well, what about the money I need that I make to support? And he's like, well, he said, what was his line? He said, well, it'd be crazy to be a divorced raising 2 kids alone. And I was like,
he's doing that now.
Right.
He's doing that now.
Yeah. I mean, she is raising those kids. I mean, he's gambling and going to med school. Like, Homeboy has nothing going on.
Like, even at the baby blessing, when like the men like went in a circle to like be blessed around the baby, he was like, oh, give me this baby, and then just like held it and was like, okay, like now we're praying over the baby. Like,
and his family is going off online about his behavior and saying that like Hulu edited him bad, Hulu edited blah 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 blah. But it's like,
I was like,
you don't edit that text. Exactly.
Saw the text. And it
would have been better for him to be on the phone, but he wouldn't even pick up the phone. That's the gag. If he would have answered the phone, you could have claimed an edit, but reading the text.
And it's also just like seeing how he talks to her. I'm like, they're not cutting in between these scenes. Like, it's not fast cuts. Like, what are we talking about? You know?
That's horrible. Yeah, I want so much better for her.
Me too.
She deserves it so much.
She's so nice and sweet.
She's
and
still
naive.
in that Mormon like bubble, basically.
Well, yeah, she's one of the ones who wears garments, supposedly.
Yeah, she wears garments. They're like doing the blessings, doing everything. Like, she's living a traditional Mormon life. So it's like, it's just so crazy.
Yeah. Well, those were our big hitters. I wrote down a few other just like little pieces. Like I felt like we had to touch on the soda party that they threw, because we need to be doing that everywhere is the thing. We need soda parties across the country, not just in states in which
in Mormon culture.
Yeah, exactly. Because I love so I have been to Swig. I love it. Now I'm making soda at home. I have been doing like a little Diet Dr. Pepper, coconut, and vanilla, and living my best life. But it's like, why are we not doing these parties everywhere? I am obsessed. I felt we had to bring it up. I did not find it interesting, the storylines about drinking, like when they were drinking in the hot tub and everybody was like mad at whoever. I think it was Jesse's husband. I cannot care less about that personally. Please don't do that in season 2. I don't care who's drinking and who's not, but keep doing the soda parties.
First of all, keep doing the soda parties. It was just crazy because it was like because it was in Zach's parents' house, and they were like,
yeah,
come on, my parents are right inside. Blah, blah.
bro,
I was like,
you're
you're all
25.
20 somethings with children. Like, what are we doing? And even Jesse was like, I feel like I'm back in high school. Like, I was like,
who brings the flask? Like,
well,
Jesse's
yeah,
husband.
Yeah. And he's like, well, you guys are boring. Let's get this party started. I'm like, read the room, dude.
Well,
like,
yeah, it was a little like off vibes.
It was also it was off vibes, and them all getting into that small hot tub together. I was like, this is weird vibes.
And you're telling me that y'all were swinging? Okay.
Thank you.
I'm just saying,
you're telling me you weren't?
Okay.
You were part of that crew? Okay, it's just Taylor and the other two, but whatever.
But next season, I need more soda parties, and I also need the swig in every, like when they went to swig and they're like, this is what I get the 44 ounce.
Yes,
like that 5-minute segment got me through a whole episode because I was like, this is what I want. This is the content I'm here for.
Yeah.
So I had to drop that for
the volume of
discussion.
soda though is actually insane.
Yeah.
that's actually insane. Like
I know everybody's like, what? How are they not huge? And they're like, I think they're drinking a diet soda, but it's like low-key 44 ounces is still a lot. Like I'm not drinking that much, and I drink a lot of soda.
It's the sugar-free. They're like, oh, but it's sugar-free, like the add-ons. And I'm like, but the soda is still packed with sugar. Like I didn't hear a single one of you say Diet Dr. Pepper. There was some people who were like soda water.
Yeah.
Like they had like seltzer or whatever. And I was like, okay, I get that. But all of them were like, one Dr. Pepper, sugar-free coconut cream, sugar-free, la da da, sugar-free vanilla. I was like, okay.
Everybody online is like, they're getting diet sodas. And I'm like, I listened to the order. They were not ordering diet sodas. They were regular Dr. Peppers. So, but I love, keep that content coming. That's the TikToks I want to see. Give me my water of the day.
First of all, if one of them could capitalize on, here's my soda of the day.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah. So
yeah, I've been seeing that. I've been seeing the shops like doing that.
Yeah,
me too.
Who was it that was like, I can't go a single day without my 44 ounce?
I think it was Layla.
Yeah. I was like, you need help. Like that's
a family. That's bigger than a
no, like I kind of get it though, because when I was there last, I went to Swig multiple times. Like I was going out of my way to get it because I was like, I love it. $3. I'm like getting
44
I get it.
$3. Like,
and those girls are having fun in there making my soda. They're just gabbing like 16-year-olds after school, just at their little job. Like I love. But anyway, life. I just had to plug the soda, obviously. Momtok survived this, which Adia started this episode with. Yeah. I need them to stop saying that is the thing. Like
it was one of them had to say it at least twice an episode, like an episode.
It was over after episode 1 for me. Like
honestly, it survived.
Well, yeah, and you have a show now, so like let's stop talking about TikTok. Like I know a lot of the drama is still happening online because like you guys are having a hard time pivoting from online to like real reality, but we have a show now. Let's talk about, can the Secret Lives of Mormon wives survive this? Like we're not Momtok anymore, you know? And like you mentioned at the beginning, there's like 15 or 20 moms on Momtok anyway.
Yeah.
And there's only 8 on the show. Like y'all are a different subset. I need us to, the slogan is no longer can Momtok survive this. It's over for me.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on our Mormon wives?
I just am really glad they made this show because it was
too.
television.
So happy.
It really like brought back, because I had been in a slump from like reality TV, and I was like, okay, you're all like, how many like seasons of Love Island? How many seasons of The Bachelor can we watch? How many seasons of Are You the One? Like
this is new. It's fresh. It gave us everything we wanted in reality TV.
And it also
they're not afraid to be on TV. Like some of these shows that have been on for years for Housewives, it's like they know what to say in front of the camera.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah. I was like, the Real Housewives are PR trained. They're also most of them are older than the girlies on, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So it's like they have the experience, they have like the time on the TV. So I'm like, these girls She's
messy.
21. She's just
She doesn't know a thing.
saying what she wants to say. She's saying what she wants to say. And I'm like, yeah, that's the raw energy I want from reality TV sometimes.
Again.
Bring us back to like early 2000s with like the crazy Big Brother sayings, the crazy America's Next Top Model sayings. Like, let's bring it back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
And I can't wait for season 2, that cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. Like,
hopefully more drama comes out, more receipts come out. I've been living for it. I love to see it like play out in real life. It's great.
Okay,
I have one. Yeah, I have one ick.
Okay,
go ahead.
You can go.
I'll make up something.
Okay, I don't know if you guys are following this saga on TikTok of this wedding makeup artist. But it is the most uncomfortable secondhand embarrassment I've ever felt in my entire life. Essentially, there's this makeup artist who overstayed her welcome at a wedding. She did the makeup, but she's like filming content the entire wedding. And she gets asked to leave. And she's like, I don't know why they would ask me to leave. Like, I was such good energy. I was such good vibe. I felt like I was a part of the wedding party. Mind you, she's in the photos. She's directing people to do stuff. She's filming on her phone. And has a flash, holding the flash with the phone. She's in the photographer stuff. Like, she is being a nuisance. And she's asking them, like, can you make a TikTok? Like, here's a TikTok. She's posting all this stuff. And it got to the point at the end of the night where she's like, she gets asked to leave. She leaves. She comes back to get food because she said she didn't get enough food. And then the groom cussed her out and she was like bawling. And then the bride was consoling her. Anyway, it is like taking TikTok by storm.
Juicy.
I've heard like whispers, but I don't have the whole story. Yeah.
It's so cringe. Because she's telling like a story time of like, here's how I got kicked out of a wedding. And you think it's going to be like something crazy, but like she's in the wrong.
She's the crazy one.
She's the crazy one. And she doesn't see it. And she's like, I just thought we were bonding the whole day. And like, it's so bad. So like the bride and the bridesmaids have been commenting on it, being like, this girl was crazy the entire day. She ruined my wedding. Like,
yikes.
It's so bad.
I get being like thinking you have like, because sometimes when you like meet with people or you like see, I could see you having a good time and being like, oh, like wish we could hang for longer. Even like if you're working for them and you're like, oh, this is just a great like working relationship, blah, blah, blah. But you are the makeup artist. You are paid to be there for 3 hours and you need to go. Like, it's a wedding. Like, remember the actual reason you're here. Like
the clips that she was posting of everyone, you can tell they are visibly uncomfortable. Like, with her being there. Like, it is so crazy. Like, she doesn't have the social cues to be like, people don't want you there. And like, I've shot plenty of weddings. Like, I'm ready to go. Like,
absolutely.
I
don't know a single person here. Like, what am I
doing? I've been
a
guest before where I'm like, all right, like when you know what I mean? Like, okay.
Literally, yeah.
Wow.
It's so bad. But yeah, that's like my ick. I literally feel disgusted, like uncomfortable when I think about it. It makes me so uncomfortable.
I'll have to deep dive into that later because that sounds interesting.
I was skipping the videos because I was seeing a lot of parodies about her and I was just like, I don't know what this is. So but I didn't look into it either. Yeah.
Cringe. It's cringe. Yeah, that's my ick. I don't have any loves this week.
Oh, geez. I have a couple loves. I'll make up for it.
I have one. Or do you want to go? Okay,
you can go if you only have one. I have like 3 or 4.
I figured out an ick. I figured out a love. Love. I'm seeing Usher on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so jealous.
Elementary school email user, one Usher fan is finally seeing Usher in concert. So I'm very excited for that. And then my ick, I got a text like a couple weeks ago that was like, your car has been safety recalled. And I like texted my dad, or I like asked my dad, I was like, is this a spam or is this real? Like what? And he was like, just Google it. And if and then I didn't see anything about it. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But then I got another text that was like, yep, safety. And I was like, okay, so I'll call the number. And they were like, yeah, there's like some power shifting, da da da. So I have to go to the Chrysler dealer on Thursday and get that system. It's free for me, so because it's a safety recall. So, but
My
just
Prius
know
had
that
one
me
of
and Midman have
those.
been eating around, like, and I was
Yeah.
just none the wiser. So, because it looks like a spam text, like
It does.
what am I supposed to do?
That happened to the Pre. They were like, it needs like a system upgrade. If you don't, your
Yeah.
powertrain could just give out at any moment. And it was like, I was looking it up and people are like, oh yeah, I was going 60 and then my car just turned off. I'm like, what?
Oh, it was
So
like just crazy because mine just was like, oh, there's been a safety recall, didn't say anything about it. And then so I was
that's
Googling, I was
wild.
like, Jeep Cherokee safety recall, Jeep
Yeah,
17.
nothing.
Like there was nothing. So I was just like, okay, whatever, kind of thing. So we
That's
move on.
wild. Well, I have a couple loves this week. I have been listening to a country mix on Spotify, and I love that Spotify knows that I don't want to listen to Morgan Wallen. He has not come up one time on
Thank
this
you,
country mix.
Spotify.
And I don't have him blocked or anything. I didn't go out of my way to block him. He just isn't showing up. And I was like, y'all are reading the room right. So I love that.
Yeah.
My
Couldn't
other
say the same
love.
about some others in this Zoom room.
Anyway, my other love is, okay, it's an ick that I was sick this weekend because I couldn't enjoy my weekend. However, I bought some Mucinex like spray mist for my nose.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah,
she's the one.
Gets you.
Yeah. Yeah. Low key, I think I had an allergic reaction to it, but I could breathe through my nose. So that is all that matters to me personally.
Oh my gosh.
I'm breathing. I'm still alive. So
I was talking to Scott and I'm like, would I rather not have the stomach cramping? I would rather be able to breathe through my nose, I think. So
not stomach cramping versus breathing through nose.
Look, one of
That's
them
crazy
is worse than the other, and it's not being able to breathe. So
yeah.
Anyway, love Mucinex mist. Thank you, girl. Because the actual Mucinex pills were not doing anything for me. So
no.
the nasal spray. My last love is all of the videos coming out from the Sweat Tour with Charlie XCX and Troye Sivan. My ick is that there's no tour stops near me. The thing is, and this is months ago when they announced the Sweat Tour, I was looking at the dates and I literally had in my Ticketmaster cart a $50 ticket to a Miami show because it was on a Saturday and there was a Spirit flight for $100 the night before. Yeah, but I couldn't commit because I was like, am I really going to Miami by myself?
Yeah.
24 hours. Literally, I would be getting there Saturday morning and leaving Sunday morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't buy the ticket, and now everybody's having the time of their lives, and there's just not a show near me is the thing. I think the closest one was like Boston or Pennsylvania, but it's like a Tuesday night. It's like I should have committed to Miami months ago because I knew I wanted to be there.
I was looking at them.
Yeah.
I knew because I was like, I had been loving like Charlie XCX's songs. I love Troy. I was like,
yeah.
So if you find a weekend one, I'll go too.
I mean, I looked just out of curiosity because like the LA ones, they are on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, which is so annoying. But I was like, maybe I could just like visit Aaron for a long weekend. But then it's like the flight was like $600, and I was like, I think I should have committed to Miami. Denver one? I'll look into it.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, because like I need to be there is the thing. Like I need to be there, and I needed to be there months ago, and I should have committed, and I didn't. And now I'm seeing the videos, and it's everything that I wanted it to be.
They
and
look amazing.
And they're having the time of their lives, and everybody who's going is having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
So I love Andic that I may not be going, but I'm there in spirit, and I wish I'm watching every single video that comes up, every single one. So anyway, what a week. What a week. Thank you everyone for listening, and if you haven't watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, put on Hulu. This is a free ad. This whole episode was free, but it's worth it if you want to know what we're talking about and put some faces to some names. And we'll be back next week with another episode. Find us anywhere you listen to podcasts and on social media, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.